Hey everyone, welcome to part 2 of the series, and in this video I'll show you all the different pieces of information you will see inside the Experience Platform Web SDK Debugger, what they mean and why they matter. And if you haven't set up the debugger yet, check out part 1. I'll drop the link in the description for you. Okay, so now let's jump in. The first you see here is the library version. So this says like what is the version you are using and if there's any update that is required. And here the namespace that you're using is Alloy, so which means that this data is for the Alloy Web SDK. The Datastream ID is super important. It tells like exactly where to send the data. It's like telling the mail carrier which house to deliver to. So this edge domain, that is edge.adobetc.net, is the edge server. Basically this is where your data is first sent before it gets processed. The IMS organization ID, it's kind of an ID that is different to different organization. And now here we have the network tab. This is where all the action happens. This is basically the behind the scenes messages the browser is sending to Adobe, telling them, hey, this is what happened to the page, or this is what happened on the page. And like when someone loaded the page or clicked a link or when they scrolled the page. So this is where everything gets recorded. So we have page title, page URL, we have all the information about the URL, like it says what is the configuration ID, which is the same as our Datastream ID. We also have request ID, and we have methods like post. In this, the method that is being used is post, which is much more secure. Another method that we usually see is get method, which is easy for debugging, but then it is not as secure because the link will have all the details and it exposes the data and whatever you're tracking in the URL. So yeah, and then here is the query string. As I said, configuration ID is the data stream ID, and the request ID again here is the kind of a unique ID, and it is just for this event. So you can trace this hit if you ever want to debug with this unique ID, which is super useful. And then post body is where you have all these events. You have meta section, you have query section here. So events contains like if you want to see the device details or browser info, even the timestamp for when it happened, all gets recorded here. And then a meta section is where you will find the domain. You will also see if the cookies are enabled or not. Cookies enabled true means yes, in this case the cookies are enabled. And then you also have like the ECID or the unique visitor ID. You also know that if or how we are fetching the details, like with the help of the ECID. And then we have a path name as EE here, stands for experience events. So it's kind of a standard format that Adobe uses to capture data like page views or clicks or purchases and more. V1 stands here for version 1 of this data collection API. And the interact here tells like, hey Adobe, here's some data about something that happened, like page load or user click. So it's like a command telling the server what you want to do. So you're interacting with the platform by sending an event. So it's like an endpoint address that is telling the Adobe which service is being called. And then we have here host name and domain. It's like a full address you are talking to, and domain is again the main part of it. We have then we have is the timestamp, which says the exact time the event was sent and the time since page load, like how long they had been on the page before the event fired. And then we have the initiator. This is where it all started, and then configuration ID, events, meta query, it's all being discussed. The same as the post body. Here we have the request ID. As I said, it's super useful if you ever need help from engineering or support. You can give them just this ID and they can look up at the exact event to see what went wrong. So this is all about the network request tab. Then we have the configuration tab. um, we have the debug enabled and we can switch it on or off as per our requirement. If I turn on this this option, and then if I try to reload the page, I can go to the log section and I can see that all these details, like what events were fired, what data was sent, which is really useful when you want to double check your setup. Then the next thing that you see is this little box here, that is Datastream ID override. That's only if you want to send your hits to a different data stream for testing. Normally this is you can leave it blank and the hit goes to the data stream that's already set up in your website. But if you do put a different data stream ID here, then all the data you send will go to that one instead, without needing to change the code on your website. So this is super useful if you're testing new configuration, or if you're if you want to use some other data stream ID. And next we have this tab, that is edge transaction. Basically the edge transaction view is meant to show you what's happening on the Adobe Edge network side, like any decisions that are made for personalizations or identity at the edge before the data reaches the analytics. So in most standard setups, especially if you're tracking page views or link clicks, you probably won't see anything here. But if you're using features like target personalization or a journey optimizer or other edge side processing, then this tab would show you exactly what happened at the edge for those hits. So if you're not seeing anything right now, like me, it's probably because there's no advanced edge side activity going on, or like in my case, you're working in a demo account where these features might not be enabled. If you do have these features enabled, and if it's still showing nothing here, then this could be a setup issue. So yeah, that's it from my end. If you like this video, hit like and to subscribe, and I hope that makes the debugger feel a bit less intimidating and a bit more useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.